All right, let's talk about something we all do every day. Have conversations. But how many of those conversations actually feel great? We're about to break down exactly how you can turn those forgettable everyday chats into genuinely brilliant connections. And the secret? It's way, way simpler than you think.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're trapped in that awkward small talk, and your brain is just scrambling for the next thing to say. The energy just dies, and you walk away feeling like, man, that was a totally missed opportunity to really connect with someone. It's super frustrating. But what if I told you that all the pressure you feel to be witty or clever or to have the perfect thing to say, what if that's all a myth? Because the real secret to a great conversation isn't about having some brilliant line ready to go. No, it's all about how you listen, how you respond, and how you ask the kind of questions that guide the conversation somewhere more real. And this, right here, this is the fundamental shift we have to make. See, most small talk gets stuck in what you could call information exchange. It's just trading facts back and forth like you're in an interview. And honestly, it's boring. The real goal is to get to emotional connection. This is where you talk about motivations, feelings, actual experiences. This is where friendship happens.
So how do we actually do that? How do we make that jump? Well, our first practical step is learning how to escape the small talk trap. Think of this next part as your toolkit for turning those totally standard, boring questions into doorways to a much, much better conversation.
Okay, let's take a classic. Where are you from? The answer is just a place name, right? It's a dead end. But watch this. You transform it. You ask, what was it like growing up there? Or even something playful like, were you a troublemaker or a good kid? All of a sudden, you're not talking about geography anymore. You're talking about their life, their story, and that's where the real emotion is.
And here it is, the big one, the dreaded, so what do you do? Look, for a lot of people, their job isn't their passion, so you have to read the room. If they light up, awesome. Dig into that with questions like, oh, how'd you get into that? But if they seem kind of bored by it, pivot. Ask the ultimate emotional question. What did you want to be when you were growing up? Come on, everyone has an answer to that one.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't that a little too personal? A little intrusive? Not at all. And here's why. You have to think of it as an invitation, not a demand. You're just opening a door to a deeper conversation. And the research on this is pretty clear. About 60% of the time, people are actually delighted to walk right through it.
But listen, these techniques are only half the equation. The other half isn't even about what you say. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful mental shift, a change in your mindset that can literally alter the entire dynamic of an interaction.
I want you to just let this one sink in for a second. Stop talking like a stranger and instead talk like a friend. That's it. The moment you decide, right here in your head, to interact with the warmth and genuine curiosity you'd show an old friend, everything changes. Your whole energy shifts.
And just look at the difference here. When we're in stranger talk mode, we're careful, we're stiff, we're kind of rigid. But with our friends, man, it's a totally different ballgame. The conversation is loose, it's curious, we bounce all over the place. The trick is to bring that friend talk energy to people you've just met. Your mindset truly sets the tone.
This is so important. A great conversation is like a river. It flows, it explores new paths, it meanders. It is not a checklist you have to get through. There's this great story about a date where one person was obsessed with getting through their top 5 movies list, and they just killed every natural side conversation that came up. Don't be that person. Let the conversation breathe.
Okay, so you're letting the conversation flow. Now, how do you know which way to steer it? Your next skill is to become a detective for emotion. You're on the lookout for a spark.
And these are the clues you're searching for. When you stumble upon a topic that someone is truly passionate about, you will see it. You can't miss it. Their whole face lights up, they get more animated, they start talking faster, and suddenly they're using way more words. They might even physically lean in closer. These are giant green lights telling you, yes, this is what I care about.
And when you see that spark, your job becomes incredibly simple. Dig deeper. That's it. Get curious. Ask them more about it. Even saying something as simple as, wow, that sounds fascinating, tell me more, can be enough to turn that little spark of interest into a real, memorable fire of connection.
And this brings us to what might be the most powerful technique of all. Because once you find that spark,
You can help move the conversation beyond just facts and feelings and into the world of storytelling. And that, my friends, is the ultimate key to deep connection.
So I want you to ask yourself this question next time you're talking to someone. Are you just passively listening to the words they're saying, or are you actively helping them tell their story? Because believe me, there is a huge difference, and it's what separates good listeners from truly great ones. So how do you do it? It's a simple 3-step process. First, use back channels. These are those little verbal cues like uh-huh or wow, and just nodding along. It shows you're paying attention. Second, ask follow-up questions that prove you're listening. And third, co-create the story with them. React with real emotion. Gasp, laugh with them. You're not just an audience, you're in the story with them.
Because at the end of the day, people don't just want to be heard. They crave the feeling of being understood. When you listen this actively, you're giving them that gift. You're validating their experience and making them feel like, hey, this person really gets me.
And here is the absolute magic of this whole thing. When you do this, you make the other person feel like they are a fantastic storyteller. Your engagement, your curiosity, it actually elevates them. It makes them feel fascinating and interesting, which, of course, makes them feel way more connected to you.
Okay, phew, that was a lot of information. So let's boil it all down into a super simple action plan. 3 things you can go out and try literally tonight to completely transform your conversations.
Okay, here we go. Number 1. Transform your questions. Stop asking what and where and start asking how and why to get to the story behind the facts. Number 2, adopt the friend mindset. Before you even say hello, just decide you're going to talk to this person like an old friend. And number 3, listen for the spark. Watch for those emotional cues, and when you see one, fan the flames. Ask them to tell you the story. And why does all this work? It's because of this, right here. Real, genuine connection is built by finding those areas of shared human experience. The similar feelings, the moments we can all relate to, and then just leaning into them. That's where all the magic is.
So look, if you only remember one single thing from all of this, please let it be this. The pressure is off. You don't have to walk into a room and try to be the most interesting person there. You just have to be the most interested.
So go out there and just be curious, because every single person you meet has an incredible story inside them. The only question is, will you be the one who helps them tell it? What amazing story are you going to uncover?